The Total Drama series is home to a lot of great characters, and it is one of the reasons why it is my favorite show of all time. Somehow, they managed to take a cast of 22 characters and make it work in the first season. Everyone stood out in their own way. Heck, I even remembered all the names as a kid, each with a unique design and personality. It's awesome that they managed to keep this formula going for every single season, even Total Drama Rama, and make every character stand out in their own way. What's even more awesome is that the good characters very much outweigh the bad in this show. But there are still some bad ones. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that Total Drama is a perfect show with all their characters being perfect. Hell no, there have been character derailments and bad characters just in general. And as much as I love the show and everything about it, I'm gonna try and poke fun at some of the characters that I think are straight up awful, cause it's fun to be negative.
It was hard to decide an overall topic for this video, so I kinda landed on this idea, but if there are any other Total Drama related videos you'd like to see me do, definitely let me know in the comments below because I would love to make more of these. But for this video, I'm going to take a look at every single Total Drama season and pick the worst character out of all of them. Obviously, this video is going to contain opinions, so if you really feel that upset that one of your favorite characters ended up on this list, then I don't know, go take a breather, take 5 minutes outside the class. With that being said, let's start off with season 1. Who is the worst possible character we can pick from here? Now, in terms of Total Drama, not counting Redonkulous Race, this season has the most amount of characters. So who can we choose to represent the cast as the worst?
There's a lot to pick from here.
Let's go off and name some of the candidates. Ezekiel, voted off first for being sexist and not really having much to go for him. He was probably designed to be voted out first, considering, well, they did it again in season 3. There's also Eva. Her entire character is being angry. She is literally impossible to like in the first season. As much as I hate to say it, Noah's also on here. Didn't have a lot of lines in season 1 and didn't stick out much either. Plus, pretty unlikable. It's great that he went on to be a better character because he is one of my favorites, and I wouldn't want to make him the worst here. Katie and Sadie. Really? It makes a lot of sense that they didn't return for another season because, well, what can you do with these characters to make them interesting? They're annoying. They suck. It was very rare for me to see them on screen and genuinely enjoy their presence. So honestly, these were the only characters that really stood out to me as pretty unlikable. So who's the worst out of all? It's Katie and Sadie. It was very hard for anyone to really care about their plot point in the first season, and if you did, you are not a real human being. They're like the two annoying ass girls in class that just won't shut up. Why would I care about them not being friends, and then being friends again, and then not being friends? They had nothing to add to the overall formula of the show. Look at freaking Sadie. After Katie got eliminated, she was just there. She only had like 3 lines. She remained in the show for 5 more episodes. And while she was a lot more enjoyable without Katie, what made her special? What made her stand out? What did she add to the overall show? Why not eliminate them both together? I don't know. I don't care. Katie and Sadie are the worst for the first season. I'm grouping them in together. We move on to Total Drama Action, where some of the characters got better and some got a little worse. With the cast almost being cut in half, a lot of changes had to be made with the characters to make them more interesting. But it doesn't always work. So who are some of the candidates that we can list for this season? Bridget and Jeff got voted off for doing that. It would be a little unfair to deem them as the worst of this season because they did have their aftermath episodes and they were quite enjoyable in them. Trent. The writers completely ruined everything his characters stand for, and it still pisses me off to this day. Courtney. I can't help but feel that in this season she was a very hard to like villain and didn't really do a lot to manipulate the other campers. Who's the winner for this round? Well, that goes to Trent. What in God's name did they do to this character? Trent, while pretty cliche, was fantastic in season 1. He had such a fun relationship and dynamic with Gwen, and it's still my favorite Total Drama relationship, aside from Noah and Emma in the Redonkulous Race. He pretty much portrayed himself to be the normal one of the group, the overall chill guy with the guitar. And all of a sudden, he's the opposite of that in season 2? But why? Where's the consistency in writing here? The whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thing, where was that in the first season? Trent was only really ruined so that they can get Gwen and Duncan together, which, oh yeah, that worked out well. Going on to World Tour, it's kind of hard to pick a character for this season. As much as I love this season, a lot of characters did get derailed. But Lashana. Lashana was my favorite female contestant from the first season, and to see her go down like this, I mean, this is the last season she competed in. I get she was made to be a victim for Alejandro and everything, but what did they do with her character here? Even in action, it just started to go downhill. She lost so much of her character, and it was so sad to see. Some people are probably going to disagree with this one because there are far worse cases of character derailment in this season, but this one just kinda hurt a bit too much, especially with how early she got eliminated as well. She could have done so much better, and it doesn't help that she never returned for another season. Going on to season 4, we've got a new cast full of good characters and characters. I'd argue that Revenge of the Island had some of the most funniest episodes, and a lot of that was due to the characters. I love the characters this season, but obviously not all of them are going to be good. And thank God they eliminated the worst one first. Stacy doesn't do much of anything for the cast. She doesn't have much of a purpose outside of demonstrating how dangerous the friggin' toxic marshmallow is. The writers very clearly made her purposely annoying so people would vote her the hell out in the first episode. There's not really much to say about her. She doesn't really have a personality outside of being, I don't know, some kind of weird liar. I'd say Dakota was a little close to making it, but she wasn't. The clear, obvious choice here is Stacy. And then we move on to season 5. Total Drama All-Stars. Woo boy, do we have a lot of candidates here. For some reason, All-Stars took all of the characters and made them very hard to like. We all know how disappointing of a season it was. Personally, I disliked Pacateo more, but we'll get to that in a second. But man, do I understand why All-Stars is so hated. We have Lindsay, who was chosen to be voted out first for seemingly no reason. Joe was just straight up annoying. No one wanted Sam back. Heather just seemed like a side character. Sierra was Sierra. Duncan lost all of his character. Courtney and Gwen had some stupid plot going on, and the continuity made no sense. Why are they friends? Zoe and Alejandro were just made incredibly stupid for what reason, and don't even get me started on Mike. So out of all of these characters, who did it the worst? Zoe's oblivious ass was very close to making the spot, but I have to say it's a two-way tie between Mike and Duncan. Now, I like Mike. I understand it wasn't completely his doing. He's got the multiple personalities, and then there's Mal, who is the true culprit of this case. But holy shit, does Mike get a lot of screen time. He's basically made the main character off of a plot that doesn't really matter in the format of the show anyway. And then Mal has made the main antagonist who doesn't really seem to care much about the game. He's just a very annoyingly written stereotypical villain. It was incredibly boring to watch, and I just wanted it to end. It doesn't really help that Mike's literal brain is the setting for like half the show. Who wanted this? I thought this was supposed to be a reality show. Why are we all of a sudden going into people's minds like it's Inside Out? Mike's entire character takes the cartoonish factors way too far, to the point where the other characters aren't even getting that much screen time, and I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore. And then there's Duncan, who, jeez, they messed up. All of a sudden, for seemingly no reason, he cares about Courtney again after literally cheating on her, and then after Gwen dumps him, he tries to prove everyone that he's not a nice guy. Where is this plot going? It never really made sense to me that they kind of just threw away Duncan and Gwen's relationship after trying so desperately hard to bring them together in the first place. And if you were gonna end it, at least make it make sense. Duncan wouldn't care about Courtney after breaking up with her. And then there's the fact that he kind of had some history with Mike. Wow, that's a really good plot point. I wonder where that's gonna go. Doesn't go anywhere. You could have had Duncan play a major role in this season, but instead he's kind of just there, suffering a very bad plot point. He's irrelevant, out of character, and just sad to watch for the entire season, and I genuinely feel bad for all the Duncan fans that had to watch this. And sure, we have the season 5 characters out of the way, but Pacateo Island does not get any better. It's another new cast, but this time it's made up mostly of bad characters. Every character is presented so that there's literally only like one thing special about them. The whole stereotype thing is taken so far in this season that we literally have bling bling from Johnny Test. Beardo makes sound effects. That's all he does, makes sound effects. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a more charming and funny one-off character in my opinion. In fact, Beardo is one of the only characters I actually like in this season. I mean, he was the only contestant to appear in one episode of Total Drama, but I guess with his concept, there's not really much you can do with it anyway. When you look at his audition tape, however, there's a lot of missed potential. Leonard is a wizard. If you look up the word unlikable in the dictionary, you will find a picture of Amy. Rodney has one character trait and one funny joke that lasts a good 4 episodes. Ella is some kind of weird parody of Snow White. Scarlet and this character from Danganronpa are basically the same person, and not for a good reason. I'm not even listing all of the characters from this season. There are a lot of bad ones to choose from.
And I knew I was gonna have to pick from 3 characters: Dave, Sugar, and someone special I'm gonna save for later. Sugar is supposed to be the antagonist of this season, which she doesn't really do a great job of doing. In fact, she's pretty annoying. She does absolutely nothing throughout the entire show. And then Dave,
well, I'm not gonna say he's the worst character, because I will admit he was pretty fun to watch. He made me feel better about myself as a human being. The last character I'm going to reveal here is someone I'm kind of confident a lot of people are going to disagree with. Sean. I don't like Sean. If he got eliminated in like 5 episodes, it wouldn't matter that much, but just the fact that he made the finale pisses me off. This man has one character trait, and that is zombies. He is afraid of zombies. He's scared of the zombie apocalypse. Literally everything he says has to involve zombies. Now tell me, why would you make this character win a season? The only thing he really had going for him was his romance with Jasmine, which, yeah, that was there, but we have to remember this was the same guy who wanted to spend his $1 million on a zombie bunker. I just ended up finding the whole zombie thing to be pretty annoying. So as hot of a take this is, we're gonna tie Sean and Sugar for the worst characters of Pocatello Island. You can go ahead and start writing your hate comments, I won't judge. But also hit the subscribe button while you're at it. You know, we could try to get this video to about 200 likes. Support your boy because he's trying to get paid. Moving on to one of the more better seasons, we've got Redonkulous Race, home to a lot of characters, the most the series has seen in one season actually. And the characters were a lot harder to dislike in this season. I enjoyed a lot of them. Some of these duos were just so amazing and entertaining. Like the Daters are one of my favorite teams. There is one character in this entire season that pisses me off the most. One who I could probably say is my least favorite in the entire series, and that is Taylor. My God, I hate this character. Basically a spoiled brat who complains about her mother 24/7, and all she knows how to be is spoiled and incredibly annoying to watch on screen. I did not care about the plot with her mom. So many other teams had some interesting plots going on that I would rather pay attention to, and it was such a relief that they left as early as they did. I'm not even gonna go into detail on how much I loathe Taylor. I'm just gonna say in a season of really good characters, she is most definitely the worst one.
And then we move on to the first season of the reboot, where we have another new cast. Now, this was a refreshing cast of characters. No one's got a stupidly basic one-dimensional personality trait, and if they do, it's actually pretty humorous. Scary Girl is such a funny and entertaining concept, and all of the other characters actually feel like humans that are relatable. It was really refreshing to see this after Pocatello Island. All of the characters are so good, so it actually makes it pretty hard to choose a worst. Honestly, this is probably the hardest season to choose a worst character for. Everyone is done so right and just fits into place. The character interactions are amazing. It feels like old Total Drama with some freshness sprinkled in. If I had to pick the weakest out of all these characters though, it's gonna have to be Millie. Her plot with the notebook thing wasn't all that interesting, and I'm pretty sure everyone knew that Priya was gonna find out about it eventually. On top of the fact that she kind of just had a snarky ass attitude and kind of felt like she was better than everyone. And not even in a direct way like Chase or Julia. And it does not help that she made it to the final 3. That spot was just not deserved. She was barely even playing the game. Priya had to carry her to the top. Overall, she just proved herself to be the least interesting. Her plot was annoying, her placement isn't justified, and while she had her great moments, the other characters just stick out more. Aside from Caleb, but you know, at least he was chill. And moving on to our final season. Season 2 of the reboot. I can't say this with a lot of confidence, but I do remember season 1 being a little more enjoyable. I still don't understand why they kept the same cast on the same island for season 2. There was some missed opportunity to do something a little different, and if they do the same thing for season 3, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Some characters stood out to be pretty awesome, while others kind of got some derailment and unfair treatment as the episodes went on. Priya and Julia stayed until the final 4. Again? Why? You could have booted them both a little earlier, or even created a new antagonist. Scary Girl seemed to have had a funny plot going, but it only lasted for one episode. In fact, all the first boots were pretty bad this season. But out of all the early boots here, Nichelle got done the dirtiest. I had some pretty high hopes for Nichelle going into this season. I thought she was gonna get a lot more screen time, a lot more plot. She didn't have much going for her in the first season, and with how much potential she had, I was really expecting more. But she got booted 5th? What?
And it wasn't even a creative reason either. Julia just happened to break a contract, and then she's gone.
This was such a lame way to write off a character with so much potential. What's worse is that this just kinda came out of nowhere.
Now, Nichelle isn't a bad character. Far from it. But seeing how differently she interacted with all the characters and how early she got booted for such a stupid reason, you gotta admit, for these 2 seasons, her character was a little disappointing. I really do hope in a future season she gets a little more screen time or at least makes a return. There's so much you can do with this character, and to see it go to waste would be horrible. But I would say that pretty much concludes the worst character from every single Total Drama season. Now, not all the characters mentioned here are bad. Lashana and Nichelle are some pretty good examples. Trent is not a bad character. Duncan is not a bad character. Stacy is a horrible character. Total Drama is always going to have its hits and misses, but I think that's what makes the series special. There's so many characters you can work with and so many seasons, and with such an engaging format, it's fun to see what kind of characters can come into the show. In my opinion, every season needs its bad characters. Do some seasons go overboard with them? Absolutely. But I feel like that's what creates the contrast in characters and the fun in hating some of them. That's probably just me, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below on how much you agree or disagree on my thoughts, and how much you may want to murder me because I said Sean sucks. Definitely consider subscribing and letting me know if you'd want to see more Total Drama videos like this. This is my favorite show of all time, and I absolutely love talking about it.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.